Hey there, my friend. Let's go deeper with the question and have a self-connection, shall we? Here it is. Do you really know what you're talking about? Let me explain. You see, many years ago in university, after a night out with my friends, I returned home to my dorm room to discover that someone had thrown a rock through the window of our dorm room from the parking lot. Now, as you can imagine, I wondered why this happened, and it didn't take long for me to start making up a story in my head as to why it did. I immediately got upset, and I was ranting and I was raving about certain groups of people on campus being jealous of myself and my roommate Mark at that time. And I stomped around, I cursed, and I played the victim, and I went to bed angry. Well, the next morning I should say, I got a voice message from my friend Dan, profusely apologizing because in a drunken state the night before, he thought it would be a good idea to try and get our attention by throwing a rock at our window. Ah, dumb Dan. Now, of course, I felt foolish for the little drama episode I'd pulled off the night before, but it was too late for that. Because I'd already made that my lived experience. I'd already spent time reacting to what I thought was real, and I'd already suffered in the process. Now, since that time, I've actually made the same mistake again. However, I like to believe that the more I have made that mistake, the more often I learn from it. This is why today I try to make the effort to gather as much information as I can before making decisions on important things. Now, if I'm to be honest though, I hate doing that because it requires so much more work. You're telling me I have to read more, dig more, and listen to other people's perspectives more before I can actually say that I know what I'm talking about? That doesn't sound like very much fun, does it? But I guess on the flip side, living a lie isn't much fun either. And with that in mind, let me ask you this. When you say your colleague thinks of you a certain way, are you right? Or when you're convinced that your partner has a specific agenda, are you right? And when you say that you know the truth behind what's happening in your neighborhood or in your city or in a particular part of the world right now, can you be sure that you're right? Have you read enough? Have you asked enough questions? Have you done all that you can to listen to the other side? Because if you're like most people, including myself, the answer is probably no. And that doesn't make us bad people, it just makes us less informed than we could be sometimes, which thankfully is something that we can change if we want. Just like that night many years ago when my friend Dan threw a rock through our window, many of us experience an undue amount of suffering because of what we think is going on and not what is actually going on. To me, that's a cruel joke to play on ourselves. And even though it might not be something that we can eliminate from our lives, it can be something that we lessen in our lives. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to be confronted with information that we can interpret however we choose. And when that happens, I encourage you, as much as I encourage myself, to dig a little deeper and make sure that the pain you feel is real and not just a misguided response to something that is not. Because there is more than enough truths in life to be upset about, so let's break free from the lies.